One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit, like behind the scenes. He would do some foul shit, like.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
The moment Diddy locked eyes with 50 Cent as he stepped into that courtroom, the shift was instant. Eyes widened, jaw locked, hands trembling beneath the table. This wasn't the confident, untouchable mogul we've watched dominate the industry for years. By the third day of testimony, witnesses said Diddy had completely unraveled, especially after 50 Cent openly threw his support behind Cassie. What happened next left the entire courtroom stunned, and it might just rewrite everything. We thought we knew about this case.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 9th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says something fabulous and he goes, yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party. What is he talking about?
Instant is going off.
When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like, he said something to me one time, a long time ago. At Chris Lighty's wedding, he told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of dude, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
Sean Diddy Combs spent 3 decades building an empire based on control, of perception, of presence, of power. For 30 years, he mastered the red carpet grin, aced the hardest interviews without a crack, and emerged from scandal after scandal without a hair out of place. He was the image of calm dominance, the music mogul who never flinched. Remember that 2017 sit-down when a reporter asked him about hush money claims from former employees? He didn't blink. He simply adjusted his blazer, flashed a rehearsed smile, and steered the conversation elsewhere like a pro. Or in 2012 when his restaurant failed, he still showed up to the final night, acting like it had all gone exactly to plan. That's the version of Diddy we all saw. Polished, composed, unshakable. But that image didn't maintain itself by accident. Sources close to him have revealed that a 12-person team was tasked solely with managing his public persona. Everything from what to say, to how to smile, to how long to hold eye contact. A former assistant once told me he'd rehearse answers for hours in front of a mirror before any major interview. He even had a personal media trainer on call who ran simulated PR disasters just to test his ability to remain composed under pressure. It wasn't just branding, it was armor. But behind the designer's suits and signature sunglasses, a different narrative was whispered for years. There were 2 Diddys, one former bad boy employee confided off the record. There was the one on magazine covers, and the one who threw phones when doors were closed. Stories of behind-the-scenes rage, explosive reactions, and a temper few dared challenge. None of it ever stuck, because no one with power ever backed it. That began to change in the days leading up to the trial. Paparazzi captured Diddy snapping at a fan outside his lawyer's office after being asked for a photo. Then came the press conference. He gripped the podium so hard, his knuckles went white. Small cracks in a man built on composure. But for someone who spent millions maintaining a flawless image, they were red flags. PR strategist Tanya Rodriguez explained it like this: celebrities like Diddy don't just have reputations, they have fortresses. But every fortress has a weak stone, and under enough pressure, one crack becomes collapse. That collapse arrived on day 3. Courtroom sources say the mask came off completely. Court reporter Marcus Jenkins described the moment. Diddy, visibly trembling as sensitive evidence was presented, his leg bouncing so aggressively that the defense table shook. He interrupted his own lawyer not once, but 3 times, each time louder, more agitated, until the judge intervened. And then came the breaking point. During key testimony, Diddy suddenly shouted, unprovoked, off script, and out of control. Judge Harmon had to issue a direct warning, one more outburst, and he'd face contempt charges. Observers said the transformation was stunning. This wasn't Diddy the mogul, this was Diddy the man. Angry, unraveling, exposed. For a public that had only seen the curated version for 30 years, the moment was jarring. But what happened next was even more shocking. Just as Diddy tried to regain his footing, the courtroom doors opened. Someone stepped inside who didn't just rattle him, they shook the very ground he stood on. The last person he ever expected to see showing support for his accuser, a longtime rival, a fellow titan, and a man with nothing to lose. When 50 Cent walked into that courtroom, multiple eyewitnesses say Diddy's face turned ghost white.
And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he wants you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit!
Right?
Wait, so this is
so Charlamagne says
it's not true, but I told after he brought up the stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
What you gonna say to him?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees you? What? I heard Diddy touch your butt.
Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'm like, yo. Yeah.
What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look. I could find other things to do for money.
The rivalry between 50 Cent and Diddy has stretched across nearly 2 decades. This wasn't just a casual dislike, it was a Cold War fought in public. Since the early 2000s, they've taken direct aim at one another. 50 Cent never held back, calling Diddy out on radio shows, mocking him in interviews, and especially torching him on social media. Remember when 50 accused Diddy of being connected to Biggie's death, or when he raised questions about Diddy's personal life and sexuality? This wasn't just rap drama, this was personal warfare. So when 50 Cent appeared in that courtroom on day 3, dressed in a sharp black suit and those trademark dark shades, the room went silent. Court reporter Janelle Martin told me you could hear phones buzzing in people's pockets. That's how quiet it got. Diddy, mid-whisper with his attorney, froze. His head shot up, and according to 3 different eyewitnesses, his face went from confused to stunned to something that looked very much like fear. Nobody expected 50 to actually show up. Yes, he'd been trolling Diddy online ever since Cassie filed her lawsuit. Just last month, 50 posted the infamous hotel footage allegedly showing Diddy assaulting Cassie back in 2016, captioned, "Money can't hide who you really are." The clip racked up more than 12 million views. Then came more posts, hints that he had receipts, that he was just getting started. But what most people didn't know, 50 wasn't just tweeting, he was coordinating. A source close to the legal team told me that 50's camp contacted Cassie's lawyers almost immediately after her case went public. He offered full support, saying he believed her and was ready to back her however he could. He's always been a long game player, my source explained, and in that courtroom, his timing was flawless. When 50 took a quiet seat in the back row, everything shifted. The entire room became a pressure cooker. Heads swung back and forth between the 2 rivals, like fans at a high-stakes tennis match. Diddy tried to bury himself in his attorneys. Notes, but court sketch artist captured him glancing over his shoulder, repeatedly. Then came the real shock. During the lunch recess, 50 walked outside to a swarm of reporters. And instead of just dropping a quote, he dropped a hammer. "I'm personally funding more legal resources for Cassie," he announced. Through his G-Unity Foundation, he said, he was making sure her case, and others like it, got the support they needed. "I want survivors to be heard," he told the cameras, "and I want more women to come forward, especially in this industry." Then he added something that no one expected to hear. "This isn't about me and Diddy's history," he said. "This is about right and wrong." The moment that statement reached Diddy inside the courtroom, witnesses say it was like flipping a switch. He slammed his fist on the defense table, so hard that his water glass spilled. His attorney tried to calm him, but it was clear. Diddy was shaking. Security inched closer to the table. The prosecution hadn't even finished dropping bombshells. Because just as the tension peaked, they made another announcement. They had new evidence. Evidence they claimed would prove Diddy had lied under oath. And then, the courtroom screens lit up. What played next was something nobody was ready for.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like hating on, like doing things with people I'd done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah. Leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of niggas have my leftovers.
Cassie was not offended by what I was offended by.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Whiteface.
You know, that's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's true.
In public.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. Though. It's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line, in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some fly shit and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like, it was someone's wedding? It was Chris Lighty's wedding. He's in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
The courtroom was already crackling with tension after 50 Cent's surprise appearance. You could practically feel the electricity in the air, like something massive was about to happen. The prosecution team wore that look, the quiet smirk of people holding a winning hand. "Your Honor, we'd like to present evidence item 47B, the lead prosecutor said. Immediately, the defense team stiffened. My source inside the room said Diddy's top attorney shot to his feet, objecting, "Your Honor, we haven't received anything marked 47B in discovery." That's when everyone in the room realized this wasn't part of the original plan. Something new, and unexpected, was about to hit. The judge called both legal teams to the bench. They huddled in tense conversation for nearly 5 minutes, while Diddy sat alone at the defense table, his eyes locked on 50 Cent, still unmoved in the back row. The courtroom artist later told me she noticed Diddy cracking his knuckles. One at a time, a nervous habit he only ever displayed when the pressure was at its peak. When the lawyers returned to their seats, Diddy's attorney looked visibly shaken. Then, the judge addressed the jury. "This court will allow the evidence. It was obtained only yesterday." The prosecutor then revealed they'd secured security. Camera footage from Diddy's Miami property, dated April 2018. The monitors flickered on, and what followed sent shockwaves through the courtroom. The grainy footage showed what looked like Diddy and Cassie in a hallway. There was no audio, but the body language said everything. Diddy appeared to be shouting, gesturing aggressively, backing Cassie against the wall. Then came the moment that triggered audible gasps. The footage showed Diddy grabbing Cassie by both shoulders, shaking her violently, then shoving her to the floor. Diddy's reaction was immediate. He shot to his feet, his chair crashing to the ground behind him. "That's not what happened," he yelled. His attorney grabbed his arm and yanked him back down, whispering frantically. But it was too late. His composure shattered. His eyes were wide, his breathing labored. A court officer moved closer to the defense table, prepared for another outburst. What made the footage so devastating wasn't just what it showed. It was what Diddy had said just 1 day earlier. Under oath, he had declared, "I have never, in any instance, physically assaulted Ms. Ventura, or any woman." He'd even doubled down, saying, "There are no videos or evidence because it never happened." The prosecutor reminded the jury of those exact words as the video looped silently in the background. Diddy sat frozen, shaking his head over and over, muttering to himself. At one point, he laid his head on the table, a man unraveling. His lawyer begged for a short recess, but the judge refused. "We will proceed," he said. Mr. Combs must maintain his composure. After court, a bailiff told reporters, "I've never seen someone change so dramatically in one courtroom session. It was like watching a mask melt right off someone's face." And the fallout spread fast. By the time court adjourned, the footage was already circulating within Hollywood circles. Texts were flying, people were picking sides. The carefully guarded wall around Diddy's public image, built over decades, was starting to collapse. And the silence his inner circle had kept for so long, that silence was about to break.
I feel like all these years, you've been the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this, yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
is, might come for you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were they were and pillaged. This was what was going on, right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that. Look, you know what's like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back, and it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
because of the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
Before the trial, Diddy had a wall of celebrity support. Famous friends filled his parties, jumped on his tracks, and rushed to defend him the moment whispers began. He was too powerful, too connected. And speaking out against him felt like career suicide. But everything shifted after day 3. The video, the meltdown, the mask coming off in front of the world. The silence around Diddy, finally broken. But the tipping point? 50 Cent. His public support of Cassie cracked the dam. He gave people permission to stop pretending. 50 showing up for Cassie was the green light, an industry insider told me yesterday. All of a sudden, you weren't the first to speak up. You were just next. And then, it started. Within hours of 50's courtroom appearance, Hollywood began to fracture. Lines were drawn, loyalties tested, the unfollows were immediate. Usher, who'd made multiple hits with Diddy, quietly unfollowed him on Instagram. Mary J. Blige, once. A bad boy era icon, did the same. Justin Bieber, who once called Diddy a mentor, not only unfollowed, but wiped every photo of them from his feed. This wasn't random. It was coordinated distance, calculated silence. The social media space turned into a Cold War. No names, just messages, cryptic, loaded. Lizzo posted, "Believe women." No context, no need for it. The weekend followed with a black screen and 5 words. Power doesn't equal truth. Then Drake, usually silent during industry drama, wrote, "The truth always surfaces eventually." That post went viral within minutes of the courtroom footage leaking. Others didn't play coy. Cardi B went live on Instagram. "I've seen this type of behavior in the industry for years," she said. "It's time we stop protecting abusers just because they've got money." No name mentioned, but everyone knew. And perhaps the clearest sign that Diddy's throne was crumbling? Silence from the top. His calls aren't being returned. A member of Diddy's own management team confirmed to me that several A-listers, the ones who used to pick up instantly, now send him straight to voicemail. He's called Rihanna 6 times since that video dropped, the source said. She hasn't answered once. Same story with Beyonce and Jay-Z. His team begged them to release a statement of support. They didn't even respond. Meanwhile, the ground under Cassie's feet is getting stronger. Female artists who've worked with Diddy in the past are now reaching out to her legal team offering to testify. Even celebrities who typically avoid legal drama have started showing public support. Lady Gaga sent flowers to Cassie's home. The card read, "I believe you." A simple message, but it echoed loudly in an industry built on silence. Just a week ago, this shift would have been unimaginable. Diddy's grip on Hollywood was once so strong that even quiet criticism could get you blackballed. Now, that grip is slipping, fast. Every hour, more celebrities pull back, more fans demand answers, and more allies switch sides. But even with the floodgates open and his empire cracking, Diddy still hadn't hit rock bottom, because the real eruption was still coming. As celebrities turned their backs, as evidence mounted, as whispers became headlines, Diddy lost what little control he had left. And in one explosive courtroom outburst, he shocked even the judge.
How much is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like, it's a simple suit situation, but it's like
20 mil, I can say it.
You still have to black his face out. You still have to mimic his voice because he's like,
but his
damn.
voice wasn't even that different.
And it got a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
I almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, that's... You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
You saw that video. It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like you could tell that he was already.
Nah, New Yorkers know. Because when Fab, he was like, "Yo, Fab, we ain't party." Fab was like, "Nah, we partying tonight."
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, they let that one go. Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was first.
The final explosion happened during Cassie's testimony on day 3. The courtroom was packed, reporters in the back, celebrities scattered throughout, and 50 Cent, still there, arms folded, watching everything. Diddy had been spiraling all morning. Court clerk Melissa Johnson said he kept whispering to his lawyers, each time louder, more frantic. His leg bounced nonstop beneath the table. He kept loosening his tie, then tightening it again. All the signs were there. He was about to break. Cassie took the stand at 2:30 p.m. She was composed, confident. She looked the jury in the eye as she described an incident from 2019. She said Diddy threatened her career when she tried to leave him. "He told me he made me," she testified. "And he could destroy me just as easily." Even before she finished, Diddy was shaking his head. His lawyer placed a hand on his arm, trying to calm him down. The judge noticed. Court reporter Damon Williams said the judge scribbled something, then passed the note to Diddy's attorney. Likely a warning. Then Cassie told the story that detonated everything. She described a party at Diddy's Hampton estate in 2018. Said he locked her in a bedroom for 2 full days after seeing her talk to another music exec. As she spoke, Diddy's whole demeanor shifted. His jaw clenched, his eyes widened, a vein on his forehead visibly pulsed. Even from the gallery, the courtroom artist captured it. Pure rage. Then Diddy stood. His lawyer tried to yank him back. Into his seat? But it was too late. "That's all lies," he shouted, pointing straight at Cassie. "You know what you did." The courtroom froze. Even the court reporter stopped typing. Cassie flinched, but never broke eye contact with the jury. She didn't even look at him. But Diddy kept going. He turned toward the back, toward 50 Cent. "And you," he yelled, voice cracking, "you'll regret getting involved in this." Security moved instantly. 2 guards stepped between Diddy and the witness stand. Another stood behind his chair. Judge Harmon slammed her gavel. Once, twice, 3 times. "Mr. Combs, you will control yourself," she barked. "One more outburst, and I'll hold you in contempt. Security, stay in place." Diddy's lawyer tried again to request a recess. The judge shut it down. "Sit down, counsel. We are continuing." Gasps, whispers, disbelief. The man who built his brand on composure and control was falling apart in front of everyone. One juror began furiously writing in her notebook as the scene unfolded. Not a good look for the defense. Cassie, unshaken. She calmly took a sip of water and kept going. Her lawyer later told reporters she'd found new strength, knowing she finally had powerful allies like 50 behind her. And speaking of 50, his response? A slow, deliberate nod, a faint smile, like someone who just played the long game and won. The power balance had shifted right in front of the jury, And Cassie wasn't done testifying. As soon as court adjourned, Diddy's legal team scrambled. Their entire strategy, painting him as a calm, composed businessman, collapsed the moment he lost control. One legal insider told me they stayed up all night rewriting their approach because selling the perfect gentleman angle was now impossible. Their backup strategy? Play the victim. By morning, they had filed an emergency motion requesting a mistrial. They claimed 50 Cent's presence was intentionally provocative, an attempt to bias the jury. The motion even included screenshots of 50's social media posts about Diddy, alleging a coordinated campaign to influence the outcome. The judge wasn't buying it. She denied the motion within hours, writing, "Mr. Combs is responsible for his own behavior." Now Diddy's team is pivoting again, quietly acknowledging parts of Cassie's testimony while denying others. They're trying to rebrand him as passionate, not predatory. Misunderstood, not malicious. It's a full reversal. But Cassie's team isn't letting up. They've requested 3 new witnesses be added. All 3 previously declined to testify. But now, they're stepping forward. Sources say they include a former security guard and 2 assistants, all with firsthand accounts of Diddy's behavior. Why now? Because after watching him explode in court, they feel safer. They believe his power is fading. Meanwhile, 50 Cent isn't letting up. Since the outburst, he's posted 7 times about the case, each message more direct. His most viral post so far? A split-screen image. Diddy in court on one side, the security footage on the other. The caption, "Actions speak louder than lawyers." Over 3 million likes in under 6 hours. And then came the announcement, 50 is launching a new docu-series. Music, industry secrets. Insiders believe Diddy will be a central focus. But perhaps the most stunning change of all is Cassie herself. Courtroom observers noticed it the moment she took the stand again. Straighter posture, clearer voice, sharper confidence. Her lawyer confirmed it. She feels heard. She's gaining power with every word. Legal analysts agree. Diddy's courtroom outburst may have destroyed his defense. Jury consultant Sarah Matthews said, "Jurors don't just listen to testimony, they watch people. They just watched him explode. That sticks more than any statement." Another analyst pointed out that after the outburst, jurors' body language shifted. Several literally leaned away from Diddy. And outside the courtroom, his empire is already showing cracks. Shares in Revolt Media dropped 14% overnight. 3 major brands have paused liquor partnerships. His talent agency is reportedly reviewing his representation. Industry insiders estimate he could lose up to $200 million in future deals. And the trial isn't even over. Regardless of the verdict, the story has changed. Power has shifted. Diddy, once untouchable, now sits isolated, watching everything fall. Cassie, once silenced, now speaks louder every single day. And with 50 Cent promising more revelations, this case is no longer just about one relationship. It's about an industry reckoning. The music world has been cracked open. And the silence is breaking.